the one thing about being in Minnesota. You're like,
So my dad was.
The meeting will come to order. This is the November 2nd of 2023 Apple Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We're following our usual procedure. I'd like to everybody to stand, face the flag, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. The next order of business would be the approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any changes suggested by staff or the committee to the agenda that's been published?
Nope. Not for me.
Hearing none, like a motion to approve the agenda as published.
So moved.
second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Audience participation, there is no one in the audience tonight, so we will not spend 10 minutes listening to concerned citizens, and we'll move on to the approval of the September 2023 minutes. Have we all had a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Yes.
Are there any what changes or?
Not here. I make a motion to approve the September 2023 minutes. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the September minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is also carried. So now we're getting into the heart of tonight's meeting. We're going to discuss a special informal meeting on Tuesday, November 7th, to await the results of the voting on the bond referendum. Eric, are you going to talk about this a little bit, or?
Sure, I can. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, you had expressed some interest in potentially gathering to kind of look at the results as they come in on Tuesday night, November 7th. And so what we're suggesting is that the committee set a meeting for 8 p.m. at the Tavern Grill, so that you can gather, and if there's more than a quorum there, you can do that legally and just see what the results are for the referendum and have a chat about that as they come in, and then disperse after a period of time. And so if the committee is interested in doing that, you would need to set that special meeting for the Tavern Grill at 8 p.m. and the address would be posted in the notice, and it would have to be in a public location in the facility so that if the public wanted to join, they could do so.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
So there is a sample proposed special meeting agenda in our packets. I think we're looking for a motion to approve the special informal meeting.
I will go ahead and make a motion to set up a special informal meeting for November 7th, 8 p.m. at Tavern Grill.
And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Everyone is, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So so we will have a special meeting.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, just for the public's benefit, we should also probably cite the address of the Tavern Grill, and that can be found at 15435 Founders Lane in Apple Valley. So that's where the meeting would be held.
Good.
Thanks, sir.
Is there anybody getting lost? All right. another informal meeting. Now we're going to talk about a joint informal meeting with the city council on Thursday, November 9th at 5:30.
And Mr. Chair, members of the committee, so this special meeting would be again on Thursday, November 9th at 5:30 PM, and it would be a joint meeting with the city council at an informal work session that they have. And the intent of that meeting would be to review the results of the Parks Bond referendum that is being held on Tuesday, November 7th. So you would be allowed to be at the meeting as a quorum and have interaction with the city council on the outcome of the referendum vote.
Okay. And again, there's language suggested in our packet, so I'm looking for a motion to have a special joint meeting with the city council.
I am happy to make that motion that we schedule a special informal joint meeting, the city council, for Thursday, November 9th, 5:30, here at
At the municipal center.
at the municipal center.
Okay. Second motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No one's opposed. That is unanimously carried. So now we'll have that meeting as well this coming week. Speaking of meetings, we're going to look at the Park and Rec calendar for this, meeting calendar for this coming year. And we have that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, so we're asking the committee to establish your regular schedule of meetings for 2024. By ordinance, you're required to have a meeting in January, March, May, September, and November of each year. We're recommending you schedule a meeting for every month of the year. And if there's no business to be discussed in any particular month, staff will just cancel that meeting. It's easier for us to schedule all of the meetings now and then cancel them than it is to not schedule them all and call for a special meeting. So that's why we're asking you to schedule a meeting for every month in 2024, and we'll cancel if there's not a reason to have a meeting.
And that's what we did this past year as well.
That is correct.
So all the meetings are the first Thursday of the month, with the exception of July, which is traditionally our park tour meeting, and that is
Correct.
on the third Thursday of the month, July 18th, to be specific. So is there any discussion on the meeting schedule that's being proposed?
I'm on a meeting roll, so I'm
Okay.
I'm happy to make a
Threefer.
I'm happy to make a motion that we set our 2024 meeting schedule for monthly first Thursday of the month, except for July, which would then be the third Thursday, July 18th, and set our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee schedule for 2024.
Okay. And is there a second?
Second.
Second, we have a motion and a second to adopt the 2024 meeting schedule as proposed by staff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That is also carried unanimously. We're going to look now at the proposed fee schedule, the city's fee schedules for the different facilities and activities. I'm sure Eric Carlson's going to discuss this for a few minutes with us.
Sure, happy to. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this evening we're asking you to review and approve the proposed 2024 fee schedule for the Parks and Recreation Department. In your packet, you have proposed fees for Valleywood Golf Course, for the Sports Arena and Hayes Arena, for the Apple Valley Community Center, for the Johnny Cake Activity Center, for the Family Aquatic Center, for just our general park facilities. You have a fee schedule for the Apple Valley Senior Center, and one for Redwood Pool, and then athletic field rentals. And in some cases, we've proposed an increase in fees. In some cases, we've proposed the fees stay the same. And in some cases, we've proposed the fees increase, I'll use the word substantially, based on what the market's doing, based on what our costs are doing to run those different facilities. And so we'd ask that you review those, ask questions, but ultimately recommend a fee schedule so that the city council can adopt those in probably at the November 21st meeting, so that we can start to advertise and market those updated fees for the 2024 year. And we can stand and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, so does the committee have any questions about the proposed fee schedule? I guess my feeling personally is that, the staff is much closer to this than we are, and they spent more time looking at this than we have, and I tend to always vote in line with what the staff has suggested.
Yeah, I saw nothing glaring when I looked through there as well. Anybody have any?
Yeah, I think it's good. I know that you've, taken in consideration of how to make it affordable but also making sure that we're able to keep up in the facilities and the programs and things like that. So appreciate the hard work on setting a pretty great fee schedule.
Looking for a motion?
Well, I just have one quick question on the Family Aquatic Center, the outdoor pool, Category C. It looks like the 2023 rate was $2,500, and that's going down to $1,200. Is that correct? Is that?
Mr. Chair and committee members, that is correct. That fee there is set up. We don't tend to have anyone that comes in and rents at that rate. And so in order to entice more groups to come in that are in that category, we're looking to lower that rate to match what we have for our Category B rate. And with that, changing some guidelines that would be allowed for that Category C. So currently, right now, it's, they would be allowed to take a gate or a ticket at there. We would exclude that from being an option. But in doing so, then they also get that reduced rate of that $1,200 versus that $2,500. And that $1,200 still covers all of our costs and produces a profit for us as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Nate. That's the only question I had. Are there?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion recommending approval of the Park and Recreation Department's 2024 fees as proposed, and granting Parks and Recreation Director or designee the latitude to adjust fees for promotions.
Perfect. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion
I'm sorry.
and a second.
You were wowed by the motion. I know.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimously approved.
I can read.
We're glad
Well
that-
done.
Yes.
Well done.
Okay, now we're gonna do some division updates. And it looks like Park Superintendent might be first on the list here. Mr. Mike Enders.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee. Thanks for having me tonight. Just want to bring you up to speed a little bit on what we've been doing in our park maintenance division, and kind of give you an outline of what we are transitioning into from summer, fall, now to winter, so to speak. So with that, make sure that, is it this?
Yep.
This one? Okay. Are we sure? Oh, that's the pointer. Sorry. Let's try this.
Is it turned on?
Let's try this. There we are.
There you go.
Jiggle the handle.
Sometimes you just have to turn it on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, sorry for the delay, but here's just a statement of our mission, goals, and keys to success, which is standard throughout the city itself. So I thought maybe we'd show that. I did want to point out the new logo here on the first page, so I thought we'd start to implement in some of our presentations. So it's a great design, so thanks for voting
This
on
would
that.
be the horizontal.
This is the horizontal one, so I've incorporated that as long as the traditional one here, so. Just one of the updates here that we did this year is the Johnny Cake Park East shop renovation, about 1,800 square feet. was desperately needed. Siding, windows, garage door, service door, new roof, new electrical service that's gone in there. That building, it was in need of repair for quite some time. Fascia, soffit, everything like that was replaced. It did take on a new shine, so to speak. It was in pretty rough shape, and that's one of those monumental projects that's been kind of on the docket for a while, and it's nice to see that finished up too. Crew working out of there really appreciates it as well. They've taken a whole new direction there, trying to painting the inside and stuff like that, taking a little more ownership in it too. So that's a great project to see to get finished up for this season. A couple other things here that we brought on board. I'm not sure how well versed you are on with this, but we've got an autonomous painter now that we use, or a striper, in our system. So it's basically an iPad that has programs in it. We can go through and set it and forget it is probably a good way to put it. We have a bunch of templates that we use. Once they're in the program, we can basically just use it and set it and go. One of the benefits of that is basically what we've been doing in the past is, in order to keep some of the striping lines highlighted, we just, even if they're not being used, we'll go out there as to prevent from going out there and laying the field back out again, because it's time consuming to do so. So that's one benefit of it, and also starting from scratch in the spring. We started using this in about the 1st of July. You can see the logo there. We use that to put the logo right there for the Freedom Days event. So we haven't had a whole season on it, so at this point we're getting about a 20% savings in paint because of the, not having to highlight the fields continually. If we've got a 2-week window where we're not occupying that field or there isn't any use, we can just let it go and then take that machine out there, pull up the iPad itself or the device and plug it in and let it do its thing. So it's been beneficial, and we're starting to see the benefits of it as we go along. So stay tuned. I'm hoping to see even better paint savings, and the labor savings is substantial too. So starting to pull those numbers together, but I was excited to bring it on board, and again, some of the operators of that piece of equipment are pretty happy with it too. It's just kind of amazing. You just see it do its thing. So it's a great addition to our maintenance program.
So do you just take and set it anywhere on the field, and it's programmed, and it just goes from there?
It works off an RTK system, which is basically an agricultural system, cellular signal. So yeah, you can literally put it out anywhere, and on the device itself or the laptop or the iPad, you can take and adjust that field in the middle of everything and shift it 2 feet one way, the other way. It's pretty cool. I mean, we can utilize it once it gets programmed. That we can stripe parking lots with it and things like that. We're really getting to know it a little bit more. The only downside of it is it only holds 2.5 gallons of paint. So if we started to do a full striped football field, we'd run out of paint before we get it finished. But for the most part, a standard soccer field, things like that, ball fields, we can usually do them pretty easily without running out of any paint.
Don't worry, Mike, we won't replace you with the robot.
Well, this is one of those technologies that, again, is designed to save some time, and staffing issues are always present, and this is one of them that'll help with this. One thing, too, that I've been researching a little bit, speaking of autonomous, is even mowing. There are some out there now that are starting to come into play. The only downside of it is they don't have a whole lot of, they're not large enough. They're small, and in order to do some of these larger complexes, it would take them a long time to do that. So that technology is getting there as well. So it's interesting, and it's nice to see some of the staff get excited to use some of this equipment and work with it a little bit.
Can you let those mowers just go overnight?
Yeah, doing some of that research too, you get a little bit skeptical about one going rogue or just going and mowing somewhere else, so to speak, or even theft or vandalism at that point. So you got to consider that. And irrigation's got to run at some point as well. So, and that's typically in the evening hours. So, I mean, there's a timing aspect with all of that. But again, some of these technologies that are out there to explore to try and be a little more efficient, so to speak.
Mike, do you have somebody monitoring this painter when it's running, or do you just set it there and leave it and drive away?
We don't leave site. For the most part, right now, once it's laying out a field, you can go and mow an area. You can probably weed whip or something like that. Again, not necessarily getting out of the line of sight of it, but doing other things on the complex. So dual purpose, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not real comfortable with leaving that be completely at this point. But again, I think having one person operate it and then being able to drag a field, clean up around the ball field, weed whip or whatever it might be. So again, trying to be a little more efficient as we incorporate some of these autonomous things.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. So no more measuring and.
Yeah, and we really don't have that, won't really know the benefit until spring. I mean, now the fields are basically in the tablet and they're set there, so we can go out in the spring of the year and just set the machine down, turn it on and walk away. We're not stretching lines out, measuring and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty unique and you can.
That's very cool.
Yeah, you can customize it a little bit, shrink them, expand them. And again, with some of the youth groups that are out there, if they're looking for some unique field sizes and we have that in the tablet, we can basically produce it.
Cool.
Very cool.
Great.
Another one of our projects that was nice to see happen, a couple years ago, we did the parking lots, chip seal, fog seal the lots over at the Aquatic Center. We did that same process here at Johnny Cake East. Roughly 120,000 square feet of material that's down there. It extends the life of the parking lots roughly between 5 and 10 years, depending upon traffic. The only downside of it is once it's striped, that material will sometimes get scuffed up, so you may have to restripe it after 2 years again till it really sets, so to speak. But again, it kind of preserves that asphalt areas a little bit to extend the life of them, and again, get a little more longevity out of those properties there. Just to give you a brief update on some of the scout projects, we had 4 of them this year. One of them were some Burple Martin houses that were at Apple Valley East. We had one at Greenleaf with some trees. We just recently had one this past Saturday, the last one, that they actually did a pollinator garden. They planted a few trees and put in a pollinator garden at Greenleaf. Probably an 8 by 12 area that they kind of boxed in with some landscape blocks and put in some plants that are pollinator friendly. Exciting to see how that matures and moves forward. I mean, there's that, we're looking to create some more of those natural areas, and the scout approached me with the idea and I said we should give it a try. So if you ever get over to Greenleaf, particularly the next year, it's pretty weak so far this year, but I'm expecting it to take off next year. You may have heard this, but Wings Financial has done a fantastic job helping us with willows around the Cobblestone Lake. We had about 150 people last year that did a portion of the lake. They came back through again this year with over 160 volunteers. Quite a large group of people did a great job. As you can see, kind of a before and after or during that they were working on. They did a great job. They tend to get a little bit overgrown from time to time. Great energetic group, organized very well. We just love having them come in and help out with some of our maintenance projects. A couple other additional updates. Tree Trusted Landscape Project out of Cobblestone. We did take and map all of our trees that have been planted in the last 5 years, GIS mapping, so we can track them and what they're doing up to the last 5 years at least. Created some NR Natural Resource Management Plan maps with potential projects. If funding comes through for some of that, having kind of an idea of what to do with some of the areas and how to develop them, just kind of get our heads wrapped around that a little bit as we move forward. Also another thing, with the help of the Natural Resource group here in the city, we actually had a grant, an EAB grant with their help, and we removed 80 plus trees and replaced 82 or put back in. That grant has been successful. We're still doing the final paperwork on it. All the trees have been put in the ground, but there's always follow-up with the grant requests that we need to pull together. But again, Natural Resources have been a great advocate for that, working with us to get those done. Also, the Productive Parks software, we're working with this software to try and, again, make things a little more efficient in our department. It's been a bit of a slow go. We've got some people that aren't really savvy with some of the new introduction to some of this stuff, so we're working hard to get some of that that software pulled together and get some of the crew a little bit more savvy, as if you will, on using some of that software product. We did downsize a few of the beds down at Kelly, if you've noticed that too. That helps out with some of our maintenance a little bit with that as well. I think Eric has been an advocate to help get that move forward. So again, trying to mitigate some of our duties as the maintenance staff. Transitioning from summer to winter equipment, that little shot of snow that we had the other day. Streets was out moving some snow. We didn't necessarily need to at that point, but it gives us a reminder that the winter's on its way. So we're working on some of that equipment getting transitioned. Shutting down pools, buildings, fountains, irrigation, restrooms, splash pads, winterizations, all that kind of stuff. That's happened as well. The cobblestone dock has been removed. The dog park gates will be removed the week of the 13th. So I'll get that in the weekly notes too. So those ice rinks are going to be transitioned over into winter ice, obviously. Fall aeration, weed treatments, fertilization, that's going on too. Again, the last stretch of cold weather kind of slowed things down a little bit. We're going to still continue to do some of that if weather permits. And sunscreen, shade removals, and things like that. And hockey rink inspections and preparing for the upcoming season there. Then a full-time staff update. We've got a couple staff that have passed, Steve Marsh passed the DOT trailer inspection course, which is required. We need to have our trailers inspected annually, and they get tagged, so to speak. Couple other people have attended some playground classes, the inspection certifications, test results yet to come. That's just happened about 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Some boiler license that people keep up on. I'm with that group as well. And certified pool operator testing that has gone through. A couple people have gone through that class and been certified for that. Plow training courses for staff too. And we have 2 veteran staff that are actually retiring on the same day, December 29th. Mark Weimelt has, I believe, 34 years in or 38 years in, and Chuck Kopesky has 14. So those guys will be both retiring on the 29th, and we'll be scrambling to fill those voids.
Miss them.
Right.
Mike, just go back for a second to
Sure.
the dog park. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't start flooding until the middle of December typically. I mean, can't you leave those gates up for a while yet?
You know, what we run into if the ground starts to freeze, it's difficult to get them removed.
No.
You know, that's that struggle that we run with there to get them, once they're anchored, you start to freeze in a little bit.
Just pull the gates up off the pins? Or?
For the most part, yeah. They're not sturdy enough to take a piece of equipment to remove them, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of a manual pry them away, so to speak. We can look into it a little bit further, maybe leave them in a little longer, but I run that risk of maybe beating them up a little bit more than we should to try and remove them. We'll take that into consideration, but I appreciate the information on it.
Have you had any feedback on the dog park? Negative or positive?
Not necessarily. There's some concerns about some dog activity there at Huntington, but for the most part, I haven't heard a whole lot of either way, positive or negative. I do see some use there from time to time, but it's not overly crowded from what I've experienced, but there's some use there.
Delaney is used, walk through there a lot, and Delaney has been used a lot during the summer, and we usually see a dog or two in there running around, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, with that, I stand to answer any questions that you might have.
Not for me.
You've answered all of mine, Mike.
Great job.
All right.
Great year.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Brian Christianson is going to talk to us about arenas.
I am. Mr. Chair, committee members, thanks for having me tonight. Brian Christensen, Recreation Facilities Manager. It's been quite a while, I think, since I've been up here and talking to you guys. So I wanted to give you an overview of kind of what the last 10 to 12 months have been like at the arenas and kind of what we have going forward here as hockey season has began, as you could tell by the snow that occurred last week, or this week. Was it this week? This week. Been a week already. First off at the sports arena, whoops, sorry, too far, too sensitive. Mike broke it, I think. Sports arena last season, we hosted 46 high school games, 16 weeks of learn to skate lessons, an ice show, which is hosted by the District 196 Icettes figure skating team, and they run 3 nights, beginning of March, end of the hockey season. And that's kind of in conjunction with our Learn to Skate program. So the kids can sign up from our Learn to Skate program if they want to participate in the ice show. It's an extra fee for them to do it, but we get 20 to 30 kids to sign up every year, and they just absolutely love it. Once we took the ice out after the ice show, we hosted 17 tennis matches and a tennis fundraiser this year that they did, a mattress sale. They sold mattresses and got a percentage of the price from the mattress factory. They used the sports arena for that on a Saturday in June and seemed to go very well. They want to come back and do it again next year. So hopefully we can keep that going for them and keep their programs running as well as they have been over the last few years. We hosted 2 craft sales, and that's done through perfectly unique craft shows. We used to have them at Hayes Arena when we did turf in the spring, and now we've moved them over to the sports arena. They hosted 2 with us last year. They're already signed up for 2 more next year. And we've had them for quite a few years at both buildings. We did host 1 consignment sale at the beginning of August. That's the same group we've had in for the last 6 or 7 years. Started at Hayes, now they're over at the sports arena since Hayes has ice year round. We did something this year that we haven't done before. In mid-September, we hosted a family fun fest. That's the bottom picture right there, with kind of bounce houses, some bag games set up for them to do. They can try out some tennis. Eric set up a referendum kind of table there for people to come and answer questions, do whatever. We had very good support from the hockey associations, and I was shocked by the turnout we had. It was a really good turnout, and it's definitely something we're going to look at doing on an annual basis. It's a great use of space, gets people in the building that normally aren't there, and it gets the hockey families there when they're used to it being ice. A lot of them that walked in had no idea that that's what that building looks like that time of year. 2 weeks after the Family Fun Fest, we started our 2-week changeover from the tennis courts to the ice. Takes 3 or 4 days to get the courts up, and then another day and a half to get the boards in, another day to get the glass up. Once we had the glass up, you can see the upper right-hand picture there. This has a layer of water on the concrete right now. The floor at this time, when they're flooding, it is 14 degrees. Very cold in the building, but we have to be that cold for them to be able to spray the white paint that's down here in the bottom right. They spray that with a mist, 3 coats of white that they put on. They come and put just normal water on top of that to lock it in, make sure it's not getting spread anywhere. And then they lay down the logos and lines, and that's all hand painted. All hand painted with water-based paint. Takes them about 7 hours to do it. Then we come in the next day and start flooding and build that sheet of ice up to 1 1/4 inches. Takes about 10,000 gallons for us to build a sheet of ice up to 1 1/4 inches. And utility-wise, anything we try and keep our ice between 1 1/4 inches and 1.5 inches. Anything we go above that, for every 1/4 inch we go above that, we're adding 9 to 11% on our utility cost. So we try and keep that at 1 1/4 inches, 1.5 inches as much as we possibly can. Give you an update here on Hayes Arena from the last time I was here. We had our second year of year-round Learn to Skate lessons. So we do host 20 weeks of Learn to Skate lessons over at Hayes. We do those Saturdays and Mondays during the summer, and then in the fall and spring just on Monday nights for people to come and do them there. We hosted 19 public skating, open freestyle, and open hockey sessions all on Saturdays throughout the summer. They're kind of attended as we thought they would be. Not super strong, but it gave people an opportunity to come in during the summer and use our building when they normally wouldn't be used there at all. We did do over 2,500 hours of rental at the sports arena last year. Hosted 2 youth hockey tournaments, one in the spring, one in the winter. The one in the winter is the Play for Patrick tournament that's been happening since Patrick Schoonover passed away, which would have been 2014. So it's been quite a while now, and we've been hosting them ever since. And in conjunction with that, they do heart screening for all the teams that come in to make sure that the kids are healthy. We did get an updated new sound system in Hayes. The sound system was original to the building, so it was about time we did that, and we've had nothing but great feedback from that from all of our users so far. We did do some updating of the landscapings and just make it, as Mike kind of mentioned, making things easier on our staff for keeping the maintenance level where we need it to be. We just replaced all landscaping with grass, and we actually did the same thing at the sports arena this fall as well to just make it easier for everybody. With all the plantings, they just got out of control, and we're not able to handle it as easily. Well, October 21st was our first day of ice at the sports arena. It started with our Learn to Skate program taking the ice at 8 a.m., and I've had youth practices ever since. Girls high school started Monday, and the boys start in 2 weeks. Our first game will be November 18th. Our Learn to Skate session, as I said, began on the 21st, runs 8 weeks, every week except for Thanksgiving, and then we'll start back up again after the first of the year to run another 8 weeks at the sports arena, and then we move that to Hayes once that is up for the year. Lastly, we have public skating, as we always do and always have, every Sunday from 3:30 to 5 at the sports arena, and that cost us $5 to skate and $3 for skate rental, and no reservations required, just show up and come skate. With that, I stand for any questions you may have.
I don't really have any questions.
No, I'm good.
Brian. I'm just always amazed at how much, all the details that go into running these different facilities.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. What's the level of interest in skating and hockey and?
It's plateaued. I would say it's not growing, it's not dying right now.
Same as last year?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Association numbers are okay. Of course, they'd always like to see more, but high school numbers are a little down, but that always fluctuates just with the number of kids that play per year in school. Some ninth grade classes have 15 kids that play, some have 2. So it all just depends on the groups that are coming through.
Okay. All right, anything else?
So when you put the lines down,
Mhm.
do you do that yourself, or you have
We
somebody?
have a company that comes in.
I was
and
gonna
does
say,
it.
that's,
Yeah.
that's a lot of.
They put yarn down first, and then they paint inside the yarn so that the paint doesn't run out into the white.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, and they use water-based.
Yes. It's a food-grade water-based paint.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
See like a time-lapse video on that,
Yeah.
right?
And last but not least, we're going to hear from
What's
Nate
on the
Rosa.
website? Oh, on the website from the year before.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I don't have a flashy PowerPoint presentation for you this time. It's more of a verbal on here, just so we can have more of a one-on-one on this, if you will. Just for the winter recreation program preview, coming up here, we have our winter newsletter. We are reviewing, the review is being completed right now and is slated to be in homes as of December 1st. And we are making some minor changes to that and trying to highlight some of our programs, trying to rearrange some of the layout and stuff so that we have different areas that'll pop out quicker, just to highlight what we want to steer people towards on that. Event updates, we just had our 3rd annual Trunk or Treat. This is located at the Apple Family Aquatic Center in their parking lot on it. That was Saturday, October 28th. Once again, it was in partnership with the Apple Valley Police Department, and this program continues to be popular and involves many of the city departments. Even with the cold, bitter wind we had that day, the lines at some point were 300 people long, 300 kids long with mom and dad on the side of them too, so a very, very good
Really?
turnout. Very, very good turnout. Midwinter Fest is coming up. Details are being reviewed for that and changes are being made for the layout of this event as well. That popularity has been growing as well since we moved it over to the Apple Valley Activity Center parking lot. And so we just want to be cognizant of that growing population for that event, and we're going to expand it, do some different layouts, and hopefully add a few different amenities on there as we're trying to get some contracts set and finished with our different program users on that. Save the date for that, February 3rd, Johnny Cake Ridge Park West, like we said. Event kickoff is at 10 a.m. with a Mites Hockey Jamboree. And then the main Midwinter Fest activities are taking place from 3 to 7:30 p.m. And then we finish that day off with a fireworks finale roughly around 7 p.m. So a 15 to 20-minute show that we're doing with that as well.
What is that date again, Nate? I'm sorry.
That is Saturday, February 3rd.
Okay.
We'd be glad to have you in attendance if you want to.
I've been there the last 2 years. We've had a great time.
Awesome. Good to hear. Athletic updates, pickleball, we have lessons and intro courses at the Apple Valley Community Center. Right now our fall sessions are underway going into December, so not so much just that we don't follow the course of the calendar on here, but note that our winter sessions, as we call them, actually will start in January, even though winter will be well underway by that time. We also have a tournament play on December 9th for pickleball, so come join us for that if you would like. Volleyball leagues are, again, at the community center. Fall sessions are underway going into December, and then our winter sessions, again, will begin in January. And then we do also with Midwinter Fest, we couple a tournament with that, and that is on February 3rd and 4th. So look for those details coming up, too, in our winter brochure coming up and online. Basketball, that is a program that we are seeing the numbers decreasing in our area. To keep that going, we are partnering with the city of Eagan as well. So we will house some nights at our facility and some nights at their facility. So rather than compete with each other, and this happens a lot with a lot of different cities where you see, the joint programs going on there. So we're going to be doing that as well between us and the city of Eagan, just to make sure that we're still offering that program for people that want to participate, but trying to make it available in both areas. And then Beanbags Leagues, again at the community center. The fall sessions are underway in December, and the winter sessions will begin in January as well. The Apple Valley Senior Center, we have exercise programs that are currently going on that will continue going into January. I'm probably not going to pronounce all these the correct way. One is Tai Chi. I want to say Qui-Gon with my Star Wars background here, but I think it's Qigong. And then gentle yoga and Sha Beat or Ska Beat, which is more of an upbeat athletic one. So I don't know the correct terminology on those. I couldn't find those online. They're also doing a handful of programs, so they have a variety of arts and craft programs, projects coming up. They're doing trips such as one to the old log theater called $1 Million Quartet. They will add more of those as the popularity comes up and as the registrations ask for more places to go to for that. We have additional card games going on, and we recently started a board games day. So that was a request that came by all of our members, and so we'll see how that goes and continue to offer those. And then pet programs, talking about, bringing different pets in for different programs, also talking about what to do in case you are an older person, have pets, what happens after someone might pass away. So trying to just have that forethought to give them that information to know how to navigate through pets. Our Little Orchard Preschool, that is also at the Apple Valley Community Center, and then we continue to have offerings and openings available for that. So if you know anyone looking, please steer them our way. We do take offerings throughout the year as some families might leave and go to a different program or leave our city or move on to a different age group on here. And then community center updates, we have public open hours. We are finalizing them for winter, trying to change some of what we did in the past so that we can accommodate more of our users. We have youth art activity classes, and there's a variety of those offerings too. And then open gym, we have adult offerings of badminton, basketball, pickleball, and volleyball. And we have youth and family open gym with varying hours on all of those. Non-school day offerings, this is something that we're really looking into on here, where we're looking to have a better presence on those days. Hosting a combination of adult open sports and at the same time offering combinations of youth and family open gym. For instance, upcoming on November 24th, known as Black Friday, usually that building would close sometimes around 6. We're going to look to stay open until 9:30 that night. We have a flyer that we already put together that will get out to the schools and then advertise with our volleyball groups that are already in our facility right now too. So rather than closing on those dates when families are looking for a place to go, maybe mom, dad, or partners out shopping and want to bring the kid somewhere. To make sure that we're still covering our costs, we'll do adult paid drop-in volleyball on one of the courts, and then we'll do the free youth and family on the other court. So that, again, we're offering for all of our age groups and different demographics. And as for that, I stand for any questions.
A lot of information there, Nate.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I have no questions, so I think, but thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Last but not least, I think we're going to hear a little bit about the upcoming park bond referendum, and
We are, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, just going to give the committee a brief overview of the Parks referendum that's going to happen on Tuesday, November 7th, and anyone watching at home is kind of your last chance to know what's going on if you don't already know what's going on. So on Tuesday, November 7th, the community is being asked to vote on a Parks referendum. There's two questions to the referendum. In question number one, there's a number of projects, and I'm going to go through those right now. One of the potential projects in question one is a $2 million investment in our trail system, and that would be to repave about 75% of the 19 miles worth of trails we have inside of our park system now. So that's one of the projects. Another one of the projects is a $2 million investment in natural resources. We have about 300 acres of wooded areas within our park system, and we want to reforest some of those areas, create some natural prairies, pollinator-friendly areas, etc. We would also invest additional city dollars in this project, in this part of the project, to remove some of the invasive species we have. So the actual investment in our natural resources would be greater than $2 million, but from referendum proceeds, we would invest $2 million. One of the larger portions of question number one is a reinvestment in the existing amenities we have in our park system of $16.7 million. This would be an investment in the core of our park and recreation system, so replacing existing playgrounds, resurfacing existing tennis courts, pickleball courts, etc., redoing parking lots and backstops and bleachers, the skate park, lighting systems, irrigation systems, etc. All of those things would happen as a part of this $16.7 million investment. Yet another investment we would make under question one is an $8.1 million investment in the aquatics, in the Apple Valley Family Aquatic Center. A lot of this investment would be done on the infrastructure that we have there, so refurbishing slides in the pool shell, replacing filters and boilers, things people don't see, but all things that we need to have to make sure that the facility operates effectively. The facility is 24 years old next year, and so like your house, at times we have to replace the mechanical systems in our homes, roofs, etc. We need to do that to the aquatic center as well. It does also include some additional shade features that was something that was sought after by the community. And these are just some images of what that might look like if the referendum were to pass, if question number one were to pass as a part of the referendum. So then we have another project is a $10.6 million investment in the senior center and the Apple Valley Community Center. We would be expanding the coffee lounge, creating an outdoor terrace on the back right-hand corner of the senior center, adding additional program space, creating a small fitness area that would be geared towards seniors, creating an indoor playground, connecting the two buildings, doing some meeting room upgrades, and potentially installing some pickleball courts. And this is what that might look like right now. There's an outdoor playground there, and so that's the approximate location where those two buildings would be connected. Here you've got what the pickleball courts might look like if those were to go forward. Here you have an image of the indoor playground, small fitness space. We're not trying to compete with Lifetime Fitness or LA Fitness or anything like that. And then an expansion of the coffee lounge for seniors. And here's just another image of that. Another project under question one is to revamp Redwood Park with a $9.6 million investment. In this proposal, we would be installing the city's first inclusive playground, an interactive water or splash pad using recycled water that would be installed. The existing building, the existing pool would be removed. We would construct a new building with restrooms. There would be loop trails, courts for equavolley, pickleball, and basketball. and then a pedestrian underpass of County Road 42, not specifically a part of the referendum, but part of the park master plan. These are some images of what Redwood Park might look like if question 1 were to pass. So you can see the the inclusive playground in the foreground and the interactive splash pad in the back of that. Some of the courts, different view of that. And we've got an $8.6 million investment in Kelly Park. We would be relocating, enlarging the stage and seating area for the outdoor concerts. We'd be able to hold a lot of other events at the facility if it were to move forward. We would be installing a new playground and also a new water feature there. We would be expanding the restroom facility and increasing on-site parking. And here are some images of what that may look like. That being the stage area on the west side of the property. And then a $5.2 million investment in a youth baseball softball complex that would be located on the Westview Elementary property directly behind the Apple Valley Community Center. Be a 4-field youth baseball softball complex, so not big enough for adult softball to be played on, and so we are emphasizing that it is for youth and for youth only. It would be lighted, have scoreboards and dugouts, approximately 240-foot fences. It supports the needs of the EAA and the VAA. And here's some images of what that might look like. And then the final project in question 1 is a $3.9 million investment in Hayes Arena by replacing the outdated refrigeration equipment. The facility does run an R22, and while it is still, we can still use it, it's not being produced any longer. It's becoming expensive to purchase, and it's time to replace that, the floor and the dasher boards. So again, all of the question 1 projects that I just went through equal $66.7 million. To the average taxpayer or the median value home in Apple Valley of $352.5, it would be a $19.53 per month tax increase if that question were to pass. This table shows different home market values in Apple Valley and what the tax impact would be on that $66.7 million. And here is the actual bond, or the actual question that will be on the ballot. For question 1, it's a 20-year bond, and the simple majority of the votes wins the question. So if one more vote for it, then it passes. If one more votes against it, it fails. Just a simple majority of the voters that show up to the polls. So then there's the second question on the referendum, and that is for an additional $6.5 million, and that would go to replace the 58-year-old pool at Redwood Park. So in question number 1, the building and the pool get removed, an inclusive playground and a splash pad get put in. In question number 2, we still get the inclusive playground, but instead of the splash pad, we get the pool. And that's that $6.5 million increase in cost to do that. And that's really the two differences between what would happen at Redwood Park. Here's some images of what that might look like. So you still have an inclusive playground, you have a building with restrooms and changing rooms and things like that. Here's another angle of that. But all of the other planned improvements for Redwood Park stay the same as they are in question 1. So again, the median value home would see a $1.90 per month increase if question 2 were to pass. There is the actual bond language for question number 2. And again, it's a simple majority, but question 1 has to pass for question 2 to pass. Residents should have received a brochure that looks like this in their mailbox, and hopefully they had a chance to review that. We hosted a bunch of open houses. We are done now at this point doing that, but we did host a bunch of open houses, 18 of them to be exact. And there is also information on our website. People have been able to vote absentee since September 22nd direct balloting began on October 20th, and you can still direct ballot yet. You could show up to City Hall tomorrow, Friday, November 3rd, between 8 and 4:30 and vote. You can vote on Saturday. You can vote on Monday at City Hall and the Dakota County Western Service Center. But on Tuesday, November 7th, you need to show up to your regular polling location between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. if you haven't already voted to cast your ballot. And then I can stand and answer any questions you may have about the upcoming Parks referendum.
Well, I doubt any of us have any questions. There's been a lot of effort put into this.
Did you hear we were having a referendum?
Yeah,
Hopefully you have. I know you have.
absolutely.
I'm not ready to joke about it yet.
All right, well, we're encouraging all residents to get out and vote for the referendum. If you have questions, if you need more information, please check out our website, or you can send me an email or give me a phone call. I'm happy to spend time with people explaining what's in or what's not a part of the referendum, so that when they do go to the polls, they do it from a place of an educated vote, whether they're voting for it or against it. All right, thank you.
Well, Eric, as long as you're right there, there's one more item on the agenda talking about park and rec job opportunities.
Yep, and Kayla's gonna highlight that one for us, so she's gonna
Okay.
come up here and take care of that, I think.
All right.
All right, it's my turn to struggle with the mouse situation here. Yes, so Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Kayla Hexel. I am the administrative coordinator for the department, and it is my first time addressing you formally in this space, so thank you for having me. I was asked to highlight the job opportunities that the Parks and Recreation Department currently has available, specifically for the winter season, though as you know, we have many coming up for the spring and fall as well. But let's focus on the winter today. So we currently have 6 jobs available that are posted on our website right now. The first 2 on the top here are facility attendant and facility supervisor. Both of these positions office out of the community center. These positions are always posted for regular applicants. It's a living, breathing environment that we, as a result of that, we have turnover as any jobs do. So we are always keeping an eye out for quality candidates to support the efforts at the community center. Just recently, we lost 2 supervisors due to extenuating circumstances in their personal lives, so we are looking to fill those positions right now. But those are always available for anybody interested in working at the community center. The next 2 positions are based out of our hockey, ice skating arena environment. We have the facility attendant ice guard position that mainly focuses out of the sports arena. And then we have the skating instructor position, which is, that position generally focuses on the learn to skate operation. So they work in that environment. The 5th position we have available is a seasonal maintenance position. This one is more for the winter season. We have 1 employee already, always looking to get 1 or 2 more. As Mike mentioned, we have 2 full-time staff who are retiring at the end of this year. So until we are able to post and fill those 2 positions, Mike will likely be looking for a couple more seasonal employees to pick up the slack when we lose those 2 staff members. And the final position we have available is the warming house attendant position. I know that Steve Skinner, who manages these employees, has started the interview process for that position this week. But again, that position is posted and we are still accepting applications for that. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, so are complete details on these positions available on the city's website? Is that-
They certainly are. To view job descriptions and submit an application, you can visit our website. The URL is listed there, but if you just go to our main page at applevalley.mn.gov and click work in the upper right-hand corner, there is a direct link to the jobs and volunteering page.
Kayla, can you let us know, are there any positions that are what the age is for some of those? Are like, are we looking 16, 18?
To my knowledge, everything is 16 plus except the maintenance position.
Yeah, that's correct. They have to be 18.
Yep, so the seasonal maintenance position needs to be 18. Everything else should be 16 plus, except perhaps the supervisor role at the community center. I'm not sure if you have to be 18, but the people in that role are, just due to the nature of it. So 16 plus for all of them except for the seasonal maintenance, and I believe the supervisor role at the community center.
Do you know, has the city sent out maybe a reminder to some of the seasonal staff that work the summer who might still be around and eligible for these? Has a reminder gone out to them that they can continue to work for the city in these roles?
Yes, it has, and that is a continual part of our recruitment process. Our past and present seasonal employees are our biggest group that we recruit from. And it's a word of mouth operation in that sense, but I know that Steve, who manages most of those staff, is constantly communicating with that base to enlighten them of new opportunities and keep them on the payroll, so to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any further questions?
Good.
Not for me, but thank you, Kayla.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good job.
Thank you.
And with that, that brings us to the end of tonight's agenda. So unless there's any other comments or concerns that either the staff or the committee want to raise, I think we'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion is carried and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.